Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our next podcast of movies that critics hate but we love.
Today we're looking at the first 4 Transformers live-action films.
That includes the original Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark Side of the Moon.
Well, might as well be Dark Side
of the Moon, and Age of Extinction, but it does not include that last crappy Nights.
And we'll get to why on that one, but
the only way we will ever do a podcast on that one is we tell you why it just was horribly wrong.
Right.
Sorry, Mark. You were great. Movie's not.
Right. Oh gosh. Okay, so the first movie came out in 2007
and starred Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, as Sam Witwicky. It sounds like about to say Wikipedia or something.
And directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yes. Yes. So, it pretty much had the basic Transformers like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee,
don't
Ratchet.
Forget Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox was in there as well as the love interest. Mm-hmm. And they had Megatron and a lot of the basic Transformers, and a few of the extra ones depending on which version you've seen, because it kind of changes with each one they do.
Now, this is a movie that made Megan Fox a household name. She was absolutely gorgeous. She didn't come back for the second one. She went on and started her own private journey on her movie career. Right. And this is one of the 2 that Shia LaBeouf actually starred in. Yeah. So,
yes. And, like I said, it came out in 2007. I actually remember... I'm not sure if we went to the theaters to see it or we just waited for the DVD. It's been a long time.
You didn't see it until DVD long after.
Okay. So it's on DVD, and I thought it was pretty fun. Pretty action packed.
It was fun.
Yeah, and it was different from how we expected. I guess if you watch Transformers, you see how it's got to change at some point. If it was like the G1, it probably wouldn't have made it. But now it seems like they want the G1 movie now.
Now, for me, I had no preconceived ideas of what I was just excited that they'd made a live action. At this point, Shia LaBeouf was still in the good graces, and regardless of everything that's happened, this guy is a fantastic and brilliant actor. Mm-hmm. He really is. He always has been. So I was happy he was in it, and he was fresh off. Not fresh off of, but his last movie had been Holes.
Yeah.
And before that, he had done Disney, Even Stevens, which had been some time ago.
Right.
So it was great to see him again. He also had done the movie, I can't remember the name of it, where he was on house arrest.
I think it was Disturbia or Suburbia.
And that was Suburbia or Disturbia.
One of the
Disturbia. And that was really great. So, again, happy to see him in here. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it from beginning to end. I thought it was a smartly written script. Lots of nice action. Great actors. Great, of course, director. Mm-hmm. Great special effects. And they were so good it didn't look like you were watching digital effects. It looked real.
Right. And they had Peter Cullen return as Optimus Prime.
Yes, my favorite.
Yes.
And yours is?
Bumblebee.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, we thought it was very, very excellent. It was a little weird at first because didn't know what to expect. And seeing them on this grand scale, because usually when you see Transformers in the animated series, they're big, but you can still tell, like, they still got this size where it's believable, and here they're gigantic.
Because that's what they would be.
If they were cars, they'd be a little smaller, but as robots, they'd be bigger.
So I thought it was great, and I was very surprised when you told me that the critics didn't like it, and why.
Yeah, and then with each movie that came about, it just got worse and worse. Still ranked in money until it got to the 4th movie, and people started to realize, if we don't want any more of these movies, we need to stop going and seeing them.
You deliberately stopped.
Yeah.
Not because they weren't good, because you didn't want any more made by Michael Bay.
And Michael Bay has a reputation now. Even though we consider a lot of his movies to be great, any movie he makes now is considered garbage to people who are not fans of him. Like, he destroyed the Transformers franchise. He destroyed Ninja Turtles. And they don't no longer want him to be a director of films. Just, he can help out. Just don't be in charge of the project.
Now, what I find hilarious about that is that every movie, as you said, up into the 4th, and other movies he'd done, have been commercial box office hits. They've made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And then with the people saying that, he's that's what I'm looking for. They don't want him doing it.
Yeah.
They copy his style. And you see his style copied in so many other movies. Mm-hmm. So how can you criticize him but then copy what he does so that you have the same results in making money?
Right.
Well, I guess that's just Hollywood.
Right.
But just for, for clarification, we love the Transformer movies 1 through 4. Now, the second one, Revenge of the Fallen, came out 2 years later in 2009.
Yes, and it kind of went through a little bit of reworking and time to do because they had the Writers Guild of America strike in 2007, 2008. So there were probably a little bit of weird things going on in the movie, which is understandable because of that event. So there were a few things we thought that were a bit like, what happened to this scene, what happened to that scene, but it was minor, and we understood why it happened. They couldn't help that event.
Right, and then Megan Fox was replaced with someone else. Who
in the third movie, yeah.
In the
third or fourth movie, she was replaced.
Okay.
But
yeah, we thought this was still great. It the film was given a $200 million budget, which was $50 million more than the one made in 2007, but it made back its money and more.
Right.
Still Shia LaBeouf, still a good plot, still great digital effects, still exciting, still adventurous, and still Michael Bay.
Yeah. And the only thing that seemed to be the criticization besides the stuff we already know that they keep saying over and over is the fact that there are quote-unquote nonsense explosions, a boring plot and nothing but explosions to make you interested as a 2 or 3 hour bore fest. But lots of movies have explosions, so I don't see what's the issue with him doing it. I mean, you can tell when he does it because of the way the movie's filmed. I don't know if they're saying it's a stereotype or it's a type of thing only he does, and it makes him stand out in a bad way. But lots of movies with action usually tend to have explosions. So, sorry, that's normal.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Megan Fox is still here, and you had a couple more characters that got moved from the background to the foreground. You got Josh Duhamel and Tyrese Gibson and John Turturro, which was great because we love them in other things.
Yeah.
This movie, as we said, cost $200 million to make,
and
it grossed over $836 million. Now, here's the case: if his movies are so bad and they don't want to make any movies because they hate them, he quadrupled what the investment was.
Yeah.
Almost to $1 billion. So clearly,
someone
liked the movies because it made $836 million.
Right. Now, going to Dark of the Moon, this is when the box office started to get affected.
And this is when the storyline did change.
Yeah.
And the plot changed, and his girlfriend changed.
Yeah, I think it was this one, or was it the fourth movie? I'm not. Yeah, it was this one. You're right, because the fourth movie had a different cast.
Right. And so it was a new girl that he met, and
yeah, it was like
she had on her high heels throughout the whole movie, like the one in Jurassic World.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a play. I think Megan Fox had quit. There was something that went on set. I think she was hurt during production. She decided to leave the project, so they had to rework the movie with a whole new character.
I think her name's Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. If I'm wrong, forgive me.
Okay.
Then you also had Patrick Dempsey, who joined. And this movie cost $195 million to make, and it grossed $1.12 billion. So movie number 3, but you're still saying that Michael Bay is horrible and he can't do a movie right. But clearly,
so
even
what's
more
going on?
people this time went to see the movie than did last time. This movie cost less to make than the second movie and the first movie, and it went 10 times. Over 10 times gross what it took to make.
Yeah, so we don't.
It's not matching what's being said.
Right. So I don't know if this is like an aftershock or what. Then they had
So this one, Dark Side of the Moon, said took a little different route, and it was the first in the series not to be co-produced by DreamWorks.
Right. Because this will be the last one they I guess published it, because remember usually DreamWorks keeps partnering with different people depending on the movie. They had distributed by Paramount this time. And as for the cast, like I said, they had a couple different ones because they keep having to get some new characters. We mentioned that.
But I said 2. Shia LaBeouf was in 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
That was taken over by Mark Wahlberg after.
Right. And we also mentioned a lot of the voice cast in here as well. Of course, Peter Cullen returns as Optimus Prime. Hugo Weaving does Megatron. And they were originally going to have Frank Welker, but Bay felt that the voice wouldn't fit because of the style and design it had. It probably would have fell off. even though he's well known for playing the character, they said he would be a little off, so they decided to get someone else.
And the incomparable Leonard Nimoy, Mr.
Oh,
Spock.
Yes, that was awesome treat. It's one of his last major film roles before he passed on. His Sentinel Prime.
Yes.
They started introducing more of the primes
Sentinel.
in here. I keep saying Sentinel. I don't know why.
Sentinel
Then they had
Prime.
Jess Harnell as Ironhide. They had Charlie Adler as Starscream. I'm expecting Tom Kenny.
Your Tom Kenny.
Yes, no, he wasn't here. He was Wheelie, and I gotta mention that as soon
Now
as
they
we
did
finish.
have Frank Walker, but he did
Another voice. He did Shockwave, Soundwave.
Mm-hmm.
They had John DiMaggio, Greg Berg, a lot of different people.
So they went all out on this one, as you said, with the voice acting. It cost less and made way more.
Yeah, and the thing with Tom Kenny, this actually hurt his career slightly. A lot of people were really angry that he portrayed. Well, he was never met at this character. He also did. They had twin Transformers that were, I guess, Mexican food trucks. And they said the voice he did was incredibly insensitive and offensive. So for a while, Tom Kenny was not allowed to do any more voices where he was pretending to be a Latino character because they said it was an offensive accent because all the Spanish was for Mexican food. And that's why you didn't hear him for a while. Other than SpongeBob and basic characters, it was just no accent whatsoever. So eventually it went away and he was able to do the voice again, but for a while it just hurt his career for a little bit.
Then the next movie was Age of Extinction.
Extinction,
Forgive me, took place in 2014, and this movie took place 5 years after the events in Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, of course, didn't return. I thought he was fantastic in all three, but he was replaced by Mark Wahlberg, who I really do like a lot and I'm a big fan of. So I was fine that he was replaced because they chose not to have him come back for various reasons, but it was okay. Wahlberg did an excellent job at playing a dad who gets pulled into this,
I guess, War of the Worlds type plot. Yeah, and it really kind of pushed to more extreme matters where now the people that they were trying to protect, now they're hunting down Transformers. Which to me I thought was a little weird since they was protecting, but since in the movies you always gotta have where the people hunt the aliens, they had to bring that in there at some point. So that kind of dwindled down how many people the Transformers could work with, and they had to rely on people outside the government or in basic places for help.
Now this one again got large negative reviews from critics saying it was terribly written, overlong, full of product placement, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it was directed by Michael Bay again, and yet again the budget was $210 million, and it grossed over $1.10 billion. So yet again, somebody went to see this movie because it was 5 times what it took to produce the movie.
Right. Nowadays, people will stop going to the movies just to make sure that these people don't make the movies again.
Right.
But for then, I think they just like Transformers, and they made a lot, and there were people that didn't want to see it.
And it was the highest grossing movie of 2014.
Right.
And the second highest grossing in the entire Transformers series. So,
right.
Who didn't like it?
I guess critics, because even on the YouTube, I see internet reviewers just tear it down too. It seems like Transformers fans liked it, but reviewers didn't. And the ones who didn't like it just say, okay, you don't even have to watch the movie. You know what's going to happen. Is that predictable or boring or lazy?
So you had Steven Spielberg and Michael Bay as executive producers. They shared
the role.
Yes, they shared it. And then you had in this one, you had Kelsey Grammer, Stanley Tucci, who was a great character actor, Nicola Peltz, who was the female, I guess,
lead, I think, T.J. Miller, and then once again Peter Cullen returning as Optimus Prime, and you had the Dinobots introduced in here.
Right, exactly. So, again, someone was going to see this movie and paying to see it. It made over 5 times what it cost to make it.
Yeah.
And this is the last movie that we actually liked.
Yeah.
It was long. Now, I will agree it was long. Yeah. But I think the story, it needed that time to get the story told very well. And, of course, they probably already knew they were going in a different direction with The Last Night.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't done that, maybe it would have been shorter and maybe it would have been a better movie. The Last Night came out in 2017.
Yes, and that is our least favorite Transformers. Now, that is the one where we can see that it was boring. It was a ton of nonsense.
It was badly written.
Yeah, it was bad. Not so great acting from some of the characters. There was a plot that
Mark Wahlberg was
still great.
Yes,
yeah,
as usual. No, he can't be put in that.
Yeah,
category.
even
That's
critics that didn't like it, they still said he did do the
Absolutely,
role well.
he did.
And it was a really weird plot. Like, now we have Transformers that were in the medieval times with Merlin and magic. I thought Transformers came to Earth recently.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're around for centuries, and they became Knights of the Round Table.
So they forgot the continuity.
It was like, is this like a comic or something that I am not aware of? And
let us know if that's the case.
yeah, and it had something going with the Nemesis Prime plot, but it got sidetracked with this Merlin King Arthur plot, because by the time they got to Nemesis Prime, movie was halfway over, and it's like Optimus Prime didn't get any screen time, so he was temporarily a bad guy, and they didn't get to do anything with it.
Now in this one you had the return of three stars we were familiar with: Mark Wahlberg, Josh Duhamel, Stanley Tucci, and you had the addition of Anthony Hopkins.
Now this
one, it cost $217 million to make. It still made close to over 3 times the amount at $605 million.
Right.
But you can see the decline in this movie, that the quality and that the movie really wasn't liked, and now it just wasn't critics. This was really
bad. This one really was a bad movie. Then after this, it goes into one more movie, which is a spin-off, which actually got a much different response, was the Bumblebee movie, which showed his first time on Earth before he met Shia LaBeouf in the regular series.
Which we can't wait to see.
Right.
We haven't seen it yet, so we are really looking forward to this, especially with this character being Rascal's favorite.
Right. All we can say is that we know that people actually did love this movie, and part of the joy was for knowing that Michael Bay wasn't in charge of it. That was one of the positives for many people. They were just happy he wasn't part of the movie in terms of producing it.
Now this one had a different writer.
Directing it. He just produced it.
And he had a different writer too. This was written by a woman, Christina Hodson. So, and you had a whole new cast of stars, including John Cena.
Yes. So we can't wait to see that one, and we can do a separate podcast on that to let you know what we think.
Absolutely. Now this one had a budget of $135 million, which was less than, I think less than all the other original Transformers movies 1 through 5.
Yeah.
But the box office on this one to date is $459 million, which is excellent. It made over 3 times the amount it took to produce it.
That's true.
So I'm, again, really excited to see what they did with Bumblebee. And I think I heard he talks in this one.
I think, because we know that his voice box got damaged in the war.
Right.
So he keeps relying on either the electronic beast or the radio to say things.
Now, we've talked about a lot. So if you've seen any of these movies, let us know which are your favorites in the comments below. If you've seen Bumblebee, let us know why it was awesome. And let us know what is so great that we have to look forward to without giving away any spoilers.
Yes.
And if you don't like the Transformers
franchise.
Yeah, not Prime, but Transformers franchise, let us know about it. What for you made it unenjoyable as a live action movie? We respect your opinion, and we like to hear why for you it didn't work. But for us, 1 through 4 it did work. 5 is an embarrassment. They should be put under the rug and never brought back out. And Bumblebee is its resurrection.
Right. So hopefully there'll be more great movies centering on certain Autobots, or just a fresh take on the franchise where it feels more like the original series or even the Prime series that we've seen in CGI, and still keeping the Transformers feel.
Right, absolutely.
So, thank you so much for watching. Tune in tomorrow for our next movie that critics hate but we really, really love.
And last shout out, Bennett Dudley does awesome mashups with Transformers animated movies, and they're creative and exciting and really fun. We'll put a link to his channel and probably one video so you can check them out and just type them in and enjoy all of his Transformer crossovers.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Asker Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Penciling the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.